And there it is, eliminated from the ALCS. 116-win team, and it still wasn't enough to make the World Series. I guess, and I'll never say this again, but of all years with everything that's happened recently, it kind of makes sense that the Yankees get to the World Series this year. Plus, I mean, you know what, with this core, Ichiro, Edgar, Mike Cameron, Brett Boone, Freddie Garcia, and the rest of the guys, yeah, we'll have plenty more chances in the years to come. Now I just gotta figure out what to do. Maybe I'll head over to Blockbuster, see if they got that new Jurassic Park 3 movie. Heard it's not supposed to be that good, but I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Besides, I guess worst case scenario, we've got a couple months till those new Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings movies come out, and maybe one of those will be decent. Okay, no, it wasn't Freddie's best year, and sure, the team did win 23 fewer games than last year, but still, 93 wins is a pretty good season, but apparently not good enough to make the playoffs, not in baseball anyway. I mean, honestly, I don't know what I hate more. Our division where two teams still almost won 100 games for the second year in a row, or the fact that only 8 teams out of 30 make the playoffs in this stupid league. But you know what? It's okay. I mean, Mike Cameron's 4 home run game was still pretty cool, and Ichiro clearly wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Besides, this team's already been through a 19-year playoff drought, so I think we can handle just 1 year of missing the playoffs. Even if, again, we probably should have been able to make it. Okay, so apparently now our pitching is great, but our hitting is, well, mediocre at best. I mean, outside of Ichiro and Edgar anyway. Still though, it was good enough for another 93-win season, which apparently still isn't good enough to make the playoffs. Not in this league anyway. Although that kind of winning percentage would be good enough in any other league, but apparently that's just how baseball works. Well, 93 wins would have won the division this season, but we only won 63. Oh god, I hope we don't suck. Besides, we still had Ichiro setting the new single-season hit record, so, you know, it was still a fun season. We sucked, but it was fun. Okay, here we go, bounce back season. And now we've got Adrian Beltre and Ichiro both in their prime. This is our year for sure. And somehow we still suck. Oh boy. I guess Beltre didn't have the best season of his career. In fact, it was one of the worst ones of his career. So, you know, a one-off season for him, and at the very least he was still way better than Spezio was. Plus, I mean, this new Felix Hernandez kid seems like he could be pretty good, so yeah, even if Freddie Garcia might be over the hill, there's still hope for the future. Or, I guess maybe not. 4th in the division again. Sure, we did improve just a little bit, slowly better and better each year over these last few. But Edgar already retired last season, and even if they're not retiring anytime soon, Ichiro, Beltre, Sexton, Moyer, none of these guys are getting any younger. I mean, really the only young guy on this team is Felix, and he's the only one not improving. Okay, there we go. That's certainly some real improvement. A winning record, 2nd in the division. Sure, we didn't make the playoffs, but things look like they're actually on the right track now. And honestly, as long as we can keep this up, all we should really need to make a playoff push in the next couple of years is to have a manager that doesn't suddenly leave the team out of nowhere halfway through the season. Never mind having a manager that sticks around. Why can't it be Bill Bavasi that leaves the team suddenly? I mean, honestly, at this point, the damage is probably already done. What the f*** was that trade from Bavasi? For real, though, the only way this ends up working out for Seattle is if somehow Bedard is a multiple-time Cy Young winner for Seattle, and none of those prospects that we traded away, like Adam Jones or Chris Tillman, end up working out for Baltimore. We are really going to be bad for a while, aren't we? And sure enough, 101 losses. Who could have seen this coming? Of course, we couldn't even get the first overall pick because we had to go and sweep the A's in the last series of the year. Okay, there we go. I mean, sure, we didn't make the playoffs again, but still an over 500 record, and Bavasi got fired halfway through the season, so in the end, that's a way better year than anyone could have expected going in. Sure, if we had fired Bavasi maybe a little bit sooner, considering the team went 61-31 after his firing, we could have made the playoffs. but this is a good start nonetheless, and certainly headed in the right direction. I mean, if nothing else works, maybe Blowers can predict us into the playoffs. Plus, I guess if nothing else, it was pretty fun having Ken Griffey Jr. back for one more season. And it ended so perfectly, too, with that walk-off hit. A hero's exit for the hero of Seattle. Oh, Junior, why couldn't you have just left it on that walk-off hit? Had to push it and come back for one more season. Now you're falling asleep in the dugout and disappearing out of nowhere. Not that I can really blame you with how this season is going. Sean Figgins and Cliff Lee. What a disaster. Especially Figgins. God. Why? Why do I keep doing this to myself? And why am I even still cheering for this team? It's seriously the same thing every time. Build up a little bit of hope, and then it's crushed either the same season or the very next year. And this time, it's not even bad enough that they lost 101 games for the second time in 3 years, or even managed to waste a Cy Young season from Felix Hernandez in the process. They managed to be historically bad. I mean, a team batting average of 236? 236? They're never going to make the playoffs again, are they? Sure, that might seem like a bit of an overreaction, but thanks to Bavasi, the entire farm system's gone other than, I guess, Ackley that we got a couple of years ago from the last terrible season. I don't know where the path is to the playoffs. I mean, I don't even know what the point of this team is without Dave Niehaus. And why is it that every time we have a historically bad season, something just has to rub it in? 2008, we lose the Sonics, and now 2010, we lose Dave Niehaus. You know what? Never mind what's the point of this team without Niehaus. What's the point of this team at all? Seriously, almost just lost 100 games for the third time in 4 years. And sure, Ackley looks like he could be really good, and that's great for the future of this team, but it's not like that's changing anything with Ichiro or Felix. Speaking of whom, at this point, honestly, I just feel bad for those two guys. Or I guess Ackley could just suck too, because why not, right? Now Ichiro's gone too, traded in the middle of the season. And sure, I know it was what was best for the team, but did it have to be to the Yankees of all teams? The Yankees? I mean, I guess at least he will get to experience the playoffs again now. And of course, as if things couldn't get any worse, now we're getting perfect gamed at home by some no-name pitcher for the White Sox. Hey, a perfect game! And it was done by the king! Let's go! Sure, we're still not going to make the playoffs, but what a moment! Besides, you know what? Even if we aren't going to make the playoffs this year, and even if we do keep trading away whatever farm system we have at any given time for ex-All-Stars that then come here and do absolutely nothing for our team, there's still hope for the future. We've managed to get through the Bedard era, and then Sean Figgins and Cliff Lee. Plus, who needs top prospects when your non-top prospects like Kyle Seager just show up and are good out of nowhere anyway? Oh my goodness! Did we really just get Robinson Cano? A real top free agent wanted to come here? What's happening? There's actually real hope. The drought's gonna end. Okay, a bit of a slow start for Cano and not the best first season as a Mariner, but still pretty good. And Kyle Seager continues to be awesome. And I don't know how Felix managed to not win the Cy Young, being clearly the best pitcher in baseball. But you know, it's Seattle. Of course, we're never going to get the votes for things like that. Real quick, I just want to make sure that there are still playoffs in baseball. Oh, yeah, look at that. They've actually been doing them all along. They even expanded it to 2 wildcard teams a couple years ago. Oh yeah, we're making the playoffs no problem whatsoever. Especially now that we added Nelson Cruz. I mean, screw the playoffs. This could be our year to win the World Series. Some of the experts even actually agree. I guess that one's on me. I let myself have hope again. I guess silver lining to this season is at least Zarenzek got fired because of it. Maybe there's hope for the future after all. Okay, so last year was certainly pretty disappointing, but we got close this year, and that was with a pretty bad year from Felix. So with a bounce back season from him next year, we're destined for the playoffs for sure. I mean, Maybe not World Series, but if nothing else, we definitely have to get Felix at least one playoff start. Uh-oh. You know, I'm starting to think that this core that Zarenzik built and spent, again, our entire farm system on, might just not be good enough to make the playoffs. If that's the case, it could be a long time before we get there. Well, at least the first trade from Dipoto, or the first big trade, looks like a good one. I mean, both Segura and even Haneker look like they could be core pieces of this team going forward. Now, we do really need Felix to get things turned around, though. Yeah, as sad as it is, I'm starting to think this might be the end for the King. And I know it's been 17 years, but it's really time for a full-scale rebuild at this point. Honestly, it was probably time for that a decade ago, but better really, really, really late than never, I guess. I'm sorry, Felix. You deserve so much better than what this franchise gave you after everything you gave us. Well, once we do eventually win it, you better be getting a ring. Yeah, this team's clearly not going anywhere near the playoffs anytime soon. Even if D. Gordon has been a pretty fun addition, and it was also fun to have Ichiro back for a season. And a little bit. I freaking hate the Astros. A bunch of dirty freaking cheaters and their stupid little baseball elf. They were supposed to suck when they came to this division, but of course, somehow the Mariners even get screwed by the worst team in baseball joining their division. Suddenly becoming good and then cheating their way to a World Series. I guess for what it's worth, the Mariners have legitimately won as many World Series as the Astros have now in recent memory. Wait. How are we 13-2? Is the rebuild already over like that? Wow. I thought these things took way longer than just one off season. No. Nope, it's definitely not over. Definitely not over. Hey, who knows? Maybe with a full 162 games, we would have made the playoffs. No one can tell us we wouldn't have. You know, even if we didn't make an expanded playoffs with the short season. Still, Kyle Lewis was the Rookie of the Year, so there really is hope for this rebuild and this future. Suddenly we have a great farm system, so at least it's getting done the right way. And yes, I know I probably don't have to wear this mask in my own house, but we went so long without any sports of any kind that I don't want to take any risks that they could somehow get COVID osmosed through the TV, so we'll just play it safe. And, of course, Kyle Lewis is hurt. This is why we can't have nice things. Wait a minute! There's actually a chance they could do this! They could end the drought! It's definitely a season or maybe even too early, but it's looking possible, even with Kellenic not having a great first season. I believe! No! Just a couple games short in the end. Once again, here I am letting them build up my hope that something good might happen just to have it crushed within a couple of months. Or even a couple of weeks in some cases. Why do I let them do this to me? I mean, I will say that this time it did feel a little bit different than some of the others, but it still seems like it might be a year or two away. Regardless, Mitch Haniger, I absolutely love you. And Seager, like Felix, I'm sorry we couldn't get it done for you. Wow! So this Julio kid could be something special, huh? Especially if they would stop calling him out on strike threes that are clearly outside the strike zone. Still though, even with Julio, it doesn't look like this year's probably going to be the year. A 29-39 start certainly isn't what we would hope for. And Kellenic is starting to look more and more like a bust the farther this goes. Wait, what the f*** do the Angels think they're doing throwing at Julio? Yeah, get him, Winker! Get him! Oh, shut up, Trout. Your team started this in the first place. FMT, buddy. Hold on. The Mariners are putting together some wins here. And they just keep winning. And winning! Oh my, 14 in a row going into the All-Star break? Wow. We're just one away now from the franchise record set back in 2001. Look, I know I've had my hopes up a few times in the past that this could be the end of the drought, but this team's starting to feel a little bit different. Said that last year, but still. It seems like it could actually happen this time, and now we get to watch Julio in the home run derby? Let's go. Okay, so he didn't technically win the home run derby, but he did hit the most home runs, so I'm just saying. whatever, he'll win it next year in Seattle. Yep, it figures that the All-Star break completely killed the momentum the Mariners had with that 14-game winning streak. Also, I haven't said it enough over the years, but screw the Astros. A bunch of cheaters. Even if they're not cheating anymore. They did once, that's enough. Okay, I know that all the websites are saying we have a 99% chance of making the playoffs and everything, but well, let's just say I've been burned a few too many times. So until that's 100%, I'm not going to believe that it's real. Okay, so it all comes down to this. The Orioles won earlier, so it's up to us. I mean, sure, there's still like 5 games left in the season, but it really feels like how things have been going lately. We got to get it done tonight. Plus, Scott Service guaranteed that we're doing it tonight. Okay, here we go. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. Cal Raleigh pinch hitting. Full count. Okay, come on. Swung on and crushed. Right field, stay fair! Stay fair! Yes! The Mariners are going to the playoffs! Let's go! Cal Raleigh, pinch hit, walk-off home run, 2 outs, 2 strikes in the 9th to win the game 2-1. I mean, how much more perfect does that get? 21 years! 21 years and they ended it with a 2-1 win on a walk-off home run. Woo! I can't believe it actually happened. Oh my goodness, it's over. The Mariners are going to the playoffs, and with the new playoff system, it's not just going to be one random wild card game. It's actually going to be at least a 3-game series. And with this pitching we got and good defense and some pretty good bats as well, especially once Julio gets back in the lineup, this team could make a deep run. Oh man, good vibes only. It sucks that the Seahawks had to die for this, but it's so worth it. Also, kind of crazy that I didn't even age in 21 years.